to the goofball army out there. Hi at the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, whew.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. I'm here for some Monday nights, a hardball situation, if you will.
We got all kinds of stuff to go over here. We got players like crazy that we got to look at as potential new Giants. Let's be honest, there is usually a turnaround whenever you get a new coach or a new GM. In this case, obviously a new coach. Typically, they bring in guys they're used to working with on a regular basis. And there are definitely some Ravens out there that would look pretty good in a little bit of blue and red there at that point. So, so listen, I mean, again, Harbaugh era in New York, it's going to probably go ahead and absolutely reshape the market here. So tonight we're going to break down those Ravens players who make sense to follow to the Giants position by position, plus also a major coaching connection that could quietly also change the entire defensive staff before it even forms. So let's break down right into it there, guys. All righty, so let's get into it here. The very first guy. This is literally the cleanest way for the Giants to change the offensive line overnight. And that's center Tyler Linderbaum. Remember, Rob, how bad we wanted him when he was in the draft?
Oh, yeah.
We were like, yeah, like sign us up. This is the guy. Let's get this guy. And for whatever reason, the Giants, didn't seem to see that way. Well, now he's got this year an 80.2 PFF grade, 53.4 pass block, 83.7 run block. He's missed only 2 games in 4 seasons. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler in 4 years. And he's still going to be just 26 going into the season. This guy,
impressive.
Yeah, like this guy, I'm telling you, point blank is such a massive upgrade over JMS. It's not even funny. And JMS, let's be honest, he took a little bit of a place up this year. Wasn't as bad as he was in some of the past years. Again, he was actually healthy for once too. I think was a big part of it.
You just beat me right to it. So, I was going to say his freshman year. Obviously, he's not going to take a play to his potential freshman year unless, there's not many players that can do that, especially that position. And then he got injured. It looks like he battled through an injury. And then it looks like he played somewhat injured last year, kind of trying to fight it off, and then never got to develop into that person he could be. And, this year, he struggled. Look, he did play up to his potential and start playing better. So who knows what it's like next year, but some worries that, we might have to worry about.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, he's one of the best centers in the league, Tyler Linderbaum is now. And JMS, again, he's played better, like you said, but he hasn't played nearly to that level.
No.
Now, you look at what's going on in that line, and obviously you got a guy in JMS, again, still on the roster. He's been a center for us for the last couple of years. He's still got 1 more year left of his rookie deal. And you'd probably go, wait a minute. If we sign Tyler Linderbaum, what do we do with JMS? Well, he actually does have guard experience. So there's the potential to do that. Got to keep in mind, Greg Van Roten is a free agent. He's also old enough to be a third giant goofball, basically. You got John Runyan. He's a potential cap hit. He's got a massive contract number. We don't know what's going on at that guard position yet. JMS could easily move over to guard. He was originally a guard when he went to Minnesota before they moved him over to center. He played guard at the Senior Bowl to show versatility to NFL teams and looked very good doing it. Again, he's got a wrestler background. He's got that kind of Mauler kind of attitude at that point. Not that you see it often at center.
Well, it's just he's got the heavy center that he's versatile, he can move, and that's what you kind of need in the guard position. And the best part too about possibly moving him over if Linderbaum wants to come over to the Giants. When was the last time we actually had a backup center?
Yeah, like a true backup center.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'd be really interested in. Like you could potentially upgrade though 2 different spots by getting one guy.
Yeah, and still having backup capability.
Yeah. So I like that move a lot. And it all depends on money, guys. Let's be honest. It always does. Because I feel like he's going to get paid big time. Again, a 3-time Pro Bowler in 4 seasons. Like that's right there is enough to go ahead and get you a very, very big deal. If I had to guess, according to what I've seen online here, obviously, he's going to get a 4-year deal around $77 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, the nice thing is center is not as overpaid as some of the other offensive line positions. Like if he was a guard with that kind of, pedigree, he'd be getting 25, probably almost $30 million because again, free agent. If he was a guard, you're probably getting $20, $22 million. So yeah, listen, it's not exactly a great contract to have to deal with. That's not the worst. You could do better. You can do worse, I should say.
You definitely do worse, but also you have to look at possibly freeing up money. But when you upgrade 2 positions by clearing up money in one spot and spending in another and have a way better offensive line, that's something that's worth spending money on.
Yeah, and I think the big part of it for me is also if you were to get him hypothetically, and again, he's not the top need for the Giants. I see you in the comments. I'm not suggesting center is the position. We're a center away from a Super Bowl. Like I'm not suggesting that whatsoever. But what I do think is that by getting a guy like Linderbaum, you improve it. You improve the protection also for Dart and try to keep him healthy in the process, which is a very key thing. And like I said, you potentially upgrade a second spot. I like it. I don't know if that's the thing to do because of the money. That's the issue.
And sometimes, I'm not saying that he's going to be that guy, but sometimes you find players will follow a coach and maybe take a couple less mil a year or a mil less. Just because they're going to chase a legacy more than just the money.
It's also because he knows he works within Harbaugh's system. Obviously you got to assuming he brings a lot of the coaches, over at that point, he has experience at offense. It works for him. Like that's the one thing, remember about Linderbaum, he's a smaller center. He doesn't work in every offense.
No.
And I think that's something that people also got to recognize as well, is that if you get a guy like him, you have to be able to work him in to your offense. So you got that option. Well, I think it's a good option.
Well, I'm going to, right? So obviously we talked about a few times across the many years we've done the show now, the Giants are one of those organizations that are pretty much good for a Super Bowl once a decade. So you go ahead and pay this guy, 5 years? They get a 5-year contract for that?
Yeah.
You turn around, where is it in you? The decade, right? And we do believe that Harbaugh could be not saying he is, but he could be the guy that gets you the potential. And as guy as Linderbaum could see, that's legacy, that's the history we have. Chasing the Super Bowl may be worth way more than they get an extra $10 million at the end of his contract, because you know what happens when you become a Super Bowl player, a Super Bowl champ? his postseason is going to go way higher and lead to way bigger things. So,
yeah, like you said,
like you said, fits into the system.
And that's the key. That's the key. You know he works. That's part of why people get players they've worked with before. They know it works. Before we get to the next player, got to give a little shout out to Jay here with the $10 super chat. He says,
boo. Thanks, Jay.
I got to get the boo going at that point there. Can't even find my boo sound. There we go. Had to find my boo sound effects. He says, how's Harbaugh going to do without the best front office in pro sports? I mean, here's the thing is that how is the best front office in pro sports going to do without Harbaugh? You can make either case. You know, I mean, Ozzie Newsome was the GM back then. I know he's still in the front office, obviously, with the Ravens and all, but they've made changes to that front office. They haven't done it without Harbaugh either. That's part of the thing about being around so long. That's not to say Harbaugh is the secret sauce to their success, but it's also not to say that he's not part of it. You know, you can draft all the great players you want in the world. The Giants thought we thought how many times we go, oh, this guy's a great player, this guy's a great player, and then they don't develop for the Giants,
and they develop somewhere else.
So it's what also like the Ravens' next guy doesn't develop players as good as Harbaugh did? How much was the drafting and how much was the development of the players? I don't know. It's a legit chicken or egg kind of situation here.
I mean, any football fan out there, pretty much diehard football fan, or sophomore fan out there, if you will, 10, 7 years ago, you had a debate. Who made who, Belichick or Brady? Sometimes you just don't know until they separate and go their different ways. Yeah.
Like I said,
they could be like you look at that front office, everyone's like, oh, that's the Belichick of the front office. And, you know, you could make the argument that Harbaugh is to Brady. Let's see how they develop without each other.
Like I said, it's just hard to know. It's just hard to know. So let's see here. Let me get some of the comments. We got a Linderbaum after we get done with Jay threatening to steal Dip's catalytic converter. She already had one stolen. Leave her catalytic converter alone. Robert, it's okay.
I did not take more. You see the attire, Drew. You are wearing the catalytic converter stealing outfit here. I'm the guy that looks like I went to work, honest work, and still vacuums all day.
Yes. There we go. So, all right, let's see here. We got a salute from Clinton Jones. What's up, man? That's the legend right there. Jay said it. So, absolute legend. Got Ryan's Big Blue podcast. Ryan's Big Blue podcast. I need to stop drinking apparently on the show. I haven't had I've had 2 sips out of this beer. 2 sips,
man. You're
Ryan's Big Blue podcast. There we go. I got it. Third time's a charm. Again, guys, if you haven't, I always said this last time as well. He was in there. If you guys haven't already, hit the like, hit the subscribe for him as well. Another great Giants content creator. And like I said, I'm just amazed at the age he's at to be able to do that. You know, like that's just amazing. Like I said, he's like, I feel like if you and I started back when he were his age, who knows where we'd be at now? Probably still here, but still.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Deb says, make sure to stop at the Golden Corral. These good old pot roast burritos. Jason's Linderbaum, overrated. JMS, underrated. Listen, I'm not down on JMS when we talk about this. I'm not down on him. Like, I just feel like we could upgrade. And I think we can still have a spot for him in the process. I don't think we have to, I'm not saying to get rid of him. But if you can get him, Linderbaum over to center and move JMS to guard, maybe replace Van Roten or JMS, since who knows what's going to happen with these guys this offseason. JMS is actually probably better than Runyan.
At that point, I'm a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I'm a lot more down on Runyan, I'll admit, than a lot of people, so who knows? But
you definitely are.
I admit it freely. I'm not a fan. I was not a fan from the get-go that they got him, so...
I still think you liked the way he got paid, and you've been very salty since. If we're going to be honest.
Because we overpaid for a guy that the Packers only sat sometimes because he was so bad at run blocking. Which
you kind of have to at that point. Like when you're that bad of a team and you need to prove a team and you're not at that stage where people want to go, you kind of have to pay people to convince you to go there.
I would rather draft people, though, than overpay for somebody who couldn't even stay on the field on a good team.
How many picks you get a year?
It depends on the year. You start
on average. How many picks you get a year? Let's just put this out there.
You start off at 7, so
you start off at 7, right? What year do we get? Run.
We got John Runyan in 2024.
Yeah. Who do we take the first round of the year?
Neighbors. Is this like 20 questions? What's going on here?
So we're obviously not getting run block protection in the first round because Neighbors. Who we take a second round? I'm saying like draft capital. You can't. I'm just saying. All I'm trying to say is you have to be like, yes, you need to prove that offensive line, but you can't do it always through the draft. And we've tried to do that through the draft over the past 10 years. Sometimes you need to improve it by paying for the situation.
But you don't overpay for somebody who literally got benched by his last team because he couldn't do a very integral part of the job. Just saying.
All right, let's put it this way. If you're at home and you've had nothing but plumbing problems, and all you do is bring in amateur plumbers to fix your pipes, you're going to overpay someone to go fix your pipes.
Is that an innuendo?
I'm going to lay some pipes.
You're talking about hookers.
I was talking about plumbers, and then I made a sexual innuendo after laying pipe. But anyway, I'm just saying, sometimes after you fail, so many times trying to take the cheap route, you have to overpay someone to fix the situation.
Yeah, I don't
and that's what we did.
But I'm saying if you're going to overpay, make it somebody worth overpaying. Runyan's not. Jay says Linderbaum was a great pick, really good player, but not elite. Yeah, I'll take that. I wouldn't say he's one of the best centers to ever play the game. I'm not putting him on a Mount Rushmore, but he's one of the best centers in the NFL currently.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. So let's see here. Jason, I love all Giants fans. I still have never met one in real life to be on these pods consistently with a bad team. It just shows passion, dedication. That's why you guys are legends. I mean, that's true. That is, because that's just we've all been dealing with all kinds of pain, emotional pain the last decade.
Yeah.
You know, as Ryan says,
just during football.
Get me likely. Well, we're going to talk about him next. So we got that. Let's see here. As Jay says, Drew, you got more problems than center. I'm not saying that, again, I'm not saying that Linderbaum is the pick that all of a sudden you get Linderbaum and all of a sudden you become a Super Bowl contending team. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying he's an upgrade. I'm just saying.
Just saying there's fringy possibilities that might want to come over to the Giants.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying it is.
6 or 7 players here, guys. Today, so not just the one. Anthony says, yeah, I mean, I'd rather see JMS and center than spending that much on a new center right now. Again, I think it depends on what we do with the plan overall.
Yeah.
Anthony, you say you'd rather have JMS as center spending too much money on Tyler Linderbaum. Let me ask you this. If we had the spot for him at center, would you then be okay with it? I'm sorry, guard, I should say. If we had a spot of guard, would you still be okay with it? Like, let's say we don't sign Linderbaum, we cut Runyan, one of those two scenarios, and JMS can move over there. Are you now okay with Linderbaum? That's what I'm just saying here. So, Ryan says, don't pay Linderbaum, upgrade over JMS. Yes, but there are bigger needs in this team where we could allocate our money. Again, I think people are worried about is the money. And I get it. The contract's big. But I'll just say this is that, you know, if you're looking at the money part going, oh, we don't have the cap to do this, we don't have the cap to do that. Well, don't go based on that. Let them figure out the cap part. Like, how many players have you seen sign players? You're like, how they afford them? Well, they afford them because they actually have a good GM that's figuring out contracts and all.
Figuring out how to move cap space around. Other
teams do it all the time.
Looking just across the Delaware River.
Yeah, so see, Philly Boy says, "Hey guys, hey." Let's see here. Jay says it kind of sucks when that dude they signed off the street had no drop off from JMS, and there you go. That's it right there. I mean, you looked at like, did anybody really miss him when he's gone? Like, Jay's not wrong there. I mean, and Austin Schlappen, by the way, first off, is not just some guy off the streets. He was actually a backup with us for the last 2 years. He was a backup with the Vikings for a couple of years. Had to start when Bradbury went down for the Vikings because of back issues. So I just wanted to clarify that a little bit. But you still, as JMS, should play better than this guy.
Yes.
That's what I'm just saying here. As Deb says, I love watching Harbaugh arrive at MetLife today. Damn straight. I think they should just put a film of him every day going to work.
I don't want to be like Vince McMahon walking into like the arena.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I want entrance music for him. Let's get some entrance music.
Some pyrotechnics in the background.
I don't know which entrance music we'd have to do though. Like, could we do like Triple H's? Time to play the game?
It would have to be time to play the game, or just let the glass break.
Oh, you want the Stone Cold? You want the Stone Cold? Harbaugh.
You want to see Jim Harbaugh just start
playoffs? It's the playoffs.
They're the playoffs, and he's sitting there catching some cold ones.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
I'm John Harbaugh. Ask me a Steve Weiser.
Let's see. Craig says, hell no, he's horrible at pass blocking. He's another JMS with better run blocking skills. Yeah, I mean, you are doing a little bit of give up with him. He's not wrong on that one there. I mean, he's definitely a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. What he actually is very good at, by the way, and we'll get to a minute there, but this player we're about to talk about here, but the Ravens have a really good fullback. And what they'll do a lot is they'll go ahead and give Linderbaum the chance to go up to the second level. They'll let the fullback hit the lineman, and now all of a sudden the hole's much bigger. But you know what I care about? It works.
Yeah.
It works.
And you don't think Scatterable will just act like a fullback and do the same thing? So you can get some crazy play action. There's a difference of having a fullback and Scatterable because you want to have both. But when you have the fullback back there, what's probably going to happen? You're going to use him for that situation.
Yeah.
If you got a guy like Scatterable that's crazy enough where he's still going to run the ball, or is he going to go up there and block?
Yeah,
because he will block. He's proven that.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a really good, a really good potential move, depending on the money part. The money's still there, and the money's still set. It makes me go pause for a second. But if the Giants can make it happen and it doesn't kill long-term plans, then why not? Upgrade. Ryan says, Deb, it felt good seeing him walk into the office with his name on the plate. Damn straight.
Hell yeah.
Let's see here. Let's get to Craig says the Giants were top 15 pass blocking. Bring back our right tackle. Bring back Van. Have Bo compete at guard or draft one. Decide what to do with Runyan. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of moves going to happen in this offensive line. No guys are going to like it. I'm going to tell you this, guys, right now, by the way. We are not going to be keeping Carmen Priscillo, I think. Just fair warning to you guys right now. I don't like it, but we signed on for the Harbaugh experience. We wanted the Harbaugh experience, so we can't sit there and knock it when it happens. He's going to bring his guys in, I think. We'll find out later because he's doing the next 2 or 3 days. He's going to have meetings with all the assistants. They're all in-house. They're all still under contract. And he's going to meet with them all and make his decisions. But he's already talked about bringing his old offensive lineman coach from the Ravens, in for an interview. So, we'll see. A lot of changes coming, I have a feeling here. So, all right, let's get into the next one here, because this move here would be about reliability, efficiency, and finally stabilizing the tight end room. Isaiah Likely. 6'2", 245 pounds. Going to be 26 this season as well. Last year, 14 games, 7 starts, 307 yards, 1 touchdown. His average 17-game season, to give you guys, it was a little bit of a down year for him, actually. So to give you his usual, 36 catches, 423 yards, 4 touchdowns. Here's the big part for me. 75% catch percentage.
Huge.
Now, Theo Johnson's this past year, 60.8. That's
big
insane.
improvement. Especially in clutch moments. Big improvement.
Yeah. That means Theo Johnson's dropping almost 40% of his catches. And you got just 25% for Isaiah Likely. And Craig, I just realized I had a typo. He said 6'2", 10. I know 6'4". My bad. I made a typo on that one. But my big thing is that Theo Johnson cannot come into this year as the only tight end that we have any promise for to be the starting tight end. We have to bring in competition for him this year.
We would be doing him a disservice. Even if you think he might develop to something better than likely, you'd be doing him a disservice by not bringing competition and being able to sharpen his edge, if you will. Iron sharpens iron.
And Isaiah Likely is that guy who can play the tight end too. If all of a sudden Theo Johnson doesn't step it up, he's your tight end 1 maybe. Like there's worse. And we're going to need a tight end, guys. I'm going to tell you right now because I'm already seeing Anthony with the Bellinger comment. Bellinger's a free agent, guys. Why the heck would he want to come back here after everything it's been through here? I'm putting it nicely by saying heck. That's my positivity.
Hardball.
I mean, that's the one thing you could say is Harbaugh sits him down and says, hey, I respect your game. I really like to have you part of this. You know, I mean, that's a conversation I'm sure he'll have with the people that are free agents that he wants back here that are on the Giants.
And there's, Harbaugh's here. So most of the disconnect comes from the coaching staff. I don't know who it was from, what part of it was Dable, was Kafka. Well, guess what? They're not going to be here next year. Most likely.
He definitely pissed somebody off on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
It's insane.
They're not going to be here.
He was not used.
Yeah.
And then
you could tell.
Good.
I was going to say, you could tell last year when he was on the field with Jackson Dart, like, there was a little bit of connections when they allowed him to play games. Like, why wouldn't you allow that to happen more? You kept on forcing Theo Johnson out there instead of Bellinger, and I would like to see like the tail of the tape. I wish I was ready for it, but I have to say Bellinger was probably way better at catching the ball than Theo Johnson was last year in this small opportunity when he had to catch.
Listen, I would absolutely love to go ahead and get Isaiah Likely here, keep Bellinger, and have the two of them and Theo Johnson there. I would be perfectly fine with that. Would love it. I just don't know. Again, I don't know what Bellinger's thinking. That's the problem we don't know with. We have no way of knowing that, like which one, of these free agents are going to want to stay, which ones are not going to want to stay. Because yes, John Harbaugh, exciting new regime. But you're also a little ticked off here. Like you haven't been used right in years. Do you want to stay here? Let me be very clear, guys. I want Bellinger back. I mean, I think we've made that case plenty of times, but in case anybody's never heard us say that, I want him back. Rob, I believe you're the same boat, correct?
Big time.
So, but he's got to want to come back.
I just pulled up the stats, by the way. Bellinger, right? Oh, Theo Johnson started 74 times last year, 45 completions.
Yeah.
Belly, 26. Shows you how much last year was on the field. 26 targets, 19 catches.
Yes.
So, way higher rate of catch.
Like I said, I don't want to give up on Theo Johnson, guys. Like I've said that before, but to reiterate, I don't want to give up on Theo Johnson because one thing about this kid is he finds a way to get open. Like he just finds a way to get open there. but those stone hands can't be counted on at this point. You have to give him legit competition. And let me be very clear. What you hope is that everything works out great. And then all of a sudden, not only is Theo Johnson catch the ball, but you got great backups and a guy like Likely and Bellinger coming back. And you go, this is a stacked goddamn tight end room. But worst case scenario, Theo Johnson's stone hands act up again. You have two guys with dependable hands. You have two guys with experience playing, starting experience even, and you're still in good shape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely be cool with that move there. So let's see here. We got a couple guys here talking about Bellinger and all in the chat here. Get back up to where we were here.
Oh, Jay, I'm real fast. I have to put that in there. Jay, fantastic comment.
Exactly.
Stone hands is awesome if he was a boxer. Boom.
Yes.
Two baddies in the sport of catching balls and not slugging faces.
Jay says, I thought we were going to be positive, and Drew talking about stone hands Theo again. Dude, what the fuck? Listen, I'm positive he has stone hands.
They could be bricks.
Like I said, I'm not knocking the Giants. I'm looking at legit plans to make sure we can actually have success next year because we have the people to have success now. That's key.
Yeah.
That's key.
We have an adult in the room.
Exactly. Anthony says, imagine Bellinger and Theo that can catch. I know that Theo catching idea is wild, but just imagine. Yeah. Like I said, I think that, again, you don't want to give up on Theo. That's why I'm saying I'm not being negative. I'm not giving up. What I'm doing is hedging my bets.
And like I said before,
ain't nothing
if you
wrong with
want
that.
Theo and you think Theo's the guy down the road, you need to bring him competition.
Yes.
Like when you're in like a sparring in a train scenario or any kind of practice competition, there's a lot of coaches come out and say, iron sharpens iron. You know, the strongest swords are made with the strongest steels, like the strongest metals. Like you need to go out there and play against tough competition.
Right as Jay still making fun of people for saying that. You say it.
Yeah. I didn't say it actually. Yeah.
Ryan says 9 p.m. stream tomorrow for you guys as well with the presser or staying on Wednesday's schedule. Well, Rob and I get a chance to talk about it. He got stuck in traffic on the way in here today. Are you good for tomorrow, Rob?
Yeah, I'll be good tomorrow.
Breaking news then. We're doing it tomorrow instead of Wednesday, guys.
Yeah.
So we'll move up, because we do want to go over that presser, go over everything he says, so we can get all excited like we always do whenever there's a new head coach, except for when we hired Mr. Mustachio, Ben McAdoo himself, because that was not expiring by any means there.
Yeah.
Craig says the Knicks lost tonight. You have a striking resemblance to Klay Thompson, and I'm thinking he means you.
Right, see?
I'm looking it up. I'm not seeing it with either one of us. I'm not seeing it. I don't know who he thinks looks like Klay Thompson. Let us know, Craig. Who do you think looks like looks like Klay Thompson? Because I think Klay Thompson is the one who looks like Klay Thompson. Maybe you had to change the channel momentarily. Let's see here. B Solo says, "Gotta bring Belly back." Yeah, like I said, I'd like him back. If he wants to be back, I'm game 100%. 100% there. Dorothy says, if I was Bellinger, I'm going to a team that actually thinks I'm worth something. That's the key. And that's why I'm saying if Harbaugh likes him and Harbaugh wants to keep him and Harbaugh likes him, go ahead and call him up and say, you know what? I want to introduce myself. Obviously, I'm the new coach here now. I'd like to talk to you about things that happened to you and your time with the Giants. I'd like to talk about how we can use you going forward in the future. We'd like to be part of the long-term plans of this organization. I'm telling you right now, that will go a long way.
Without that. And that's literally what I was trying to say before. It's not so much the Giants organization, more or less the coach staff that he was with. We've talked about this before. I think it's
Yep, we lost Rob. We lost him. He's stuck in a Popeye phrase on top of that there. Oh, no. Craig says, Belly won't have a lot of suitors. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's one of those guys that I feel like somebody's going to like a lot. Like, somebody's going to be like, damn, we need to go ahead and get this guy. I don't know who, but I think that somebody's going to see the value in having him. I'm going to move my light over there. We'll find out. We'll find out. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Now we got him back. Rob is back. He's not in that weird face anymore.
Who's that?
You're like, Jay says, why would anyone want to come back here? And Anthony answered him right back. Because of Harbaugh, Jay.
That's what I said before. And what I was trying to say before, my face got stuck. Was 80% of people that quit the jobs quit their boss and not the organization they work for.
Oh, I saw someone saw a training video.
Oh, maybe I had to conduct that training video. I don't know. I didn't want to be part of the 80% of the staff that there was people quitting. But let's put it this way. If Harbaugh is working over with the Rams next year, that's what he is, and the Rams call up Bellinger, hey, we would love you to play here. You think he's going to go, I don't know if I want to do that again. Or if Harbaugh comes in the room and says, hey, Bellinger, can you sit down? I want to talk to you. I liked what I saw on film. Would you stay another year? 3? What do you think he's more likely to do? Maybe stay with the new coach staff that has a track record.
It depends on who he had issues with and who's staying and who's going.
Yeah.
We don't know that part, you know?
Dan Bellinger, come on the show. Let us know what happens. So we can talk about it. Honestly.
Oh, yeah. Craig says Rob, a.k.a. Klay Thompson. So, Rob, you're the one who looks like Klay Thompson, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not. I'm really. I don't know. I'm just. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this up. We're going to put up a picture of Klay Thompson here, and I found a picture that I think is very fitting for based on how today's gone so far, and we're going to see if this. Nope. I don't see it. I
didn't do my hair today.
At least you have hair. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Jay says, yeah, right. He'll have team interested, much smarter than the Giants. Listen, I'm not saying teams won't be interested. I just don't know if he's that guy that people are like, oh, this guy is being underutilized with this team. They'd be right if someone says that.
Be right about 80% of the staff, 90% of the staff.
You know, but that's just not everybody sees it. Not everybody sees it. He says catches everything. Yes. Deb says at Dorothy, maybe Harbaugh will make Bellinger want to stay. It's possible. It's possible. Jay says Klay Thompson is skinny. I think he's saying you're fat, Rob.
That's pretty sure that's what he's saying.
Just saying.
He's also like 6'5".
Zonde from Street Fighter. 6'5" is not that tall, by the way.
That's because you're 6'7".
I know.
Screw you, man. Average person's 5'7". I'm bigger than average.
Let's see. B Solo says it's so annoying when Dable sent Bellinger to Shadow Realm when we got Darren Waller, especially when Waller doesn't block. Well, especially when they try to make Darren Waller a blocker.
Ridiculous.
Like, that's insanity. Anthony says it's so frustrating because we have seen absolute beast mode Theo Johnson once the ball is in his hands. Yes, the problem is getting it there.
Yeah, I did the math for 73% of targets were catches for Bellinger, which is way higher.
We already had done the math. It's a 60.8 catch percentage last year.
For Theo Johnson, no, except for Bellinger. You gotta pay attention to what people say, bro.
I don't have to. You can't make me.
I know. Obviously.
You can't make me.
Obviously.
Thomas Fedoni, Craig says. No, I'm good. Thomas Fedoni is definitely not who I'm interested. It's just, I don't know. I feel like if he was going to be something, he would have popped out last year. I just don't. Sean says, good evening, fellas. I thought tight ends were important in the Harbaugh Ravens offense. 100% they are. And this is part of why to have this conversation. You have somebody who's not only a good pass catching tight end, but a good pass catching tight end that also knows the offense, knows the system, knows the coach. It just makes too much sense. Let's see. Jay says Theo is awesome and can block. He's awesome when he catches the ball and can block.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dorothy says before Bellinger got his eye poked out, he looked like a surefire starter. I still think he is. I really do. So, unfortunately, he just never happens that he gets the chance to show who he was again. And you see glimpses of it, and all of a sudden they bench him again. I don't know why. It's like they're afraid to make him look good. Jay says Monkey going to runs a lot of tight end stuff, so will be fun. I love that type of football. Make them cover the whole field. As long as they still include receivers. That's my only issue with the Ravens. They focus on tight end so much, they never got the ball over to the wide receivers. But in the end, they also never had a wide receiver like Malik Neighbors. And they also had a quarterback that, let's be honest, I think didn't want to really throw the ball like that.
In recent times, we'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see here. Deb says, wonder if Monken will take a head coach job if offered. He's got a second interview with the Browns. So we'll see what happens there. But he does have a second interview with the Browns there. Dorothy says, Harbaugh Shane should draft Oscar Delp to shore up that tight end room. I mean, we'll see. That's a possibility. Anything's possible right now. We don't know what Harbaugh thinks of the roster. That's part of it. Anthony says, talking about putting Rob on the spot. Jay says, third of our league coaching is open. Glad we got our guy. Yes, I'm so glad we got Harbaugh before freaking
especially with the Bills firing this morning.
Yeah, before the Bills job. That's just insanity. And we will talk about that later on there. Let's see. Sir Luca says, NJ, are you here? Can you please come home? The kids miss you so much. What? I'm not sure what's going on here. Are we breaking up families, Rob?
Oh, jeez.
Is he like maybe hiding somewhere in the house, like watching the show? Is that what's going on?
NJ,
if you're here, go home. The kids and this woman here misses you.
Take the 2% milk. It's okay. Just go home.
Oh my God. Let's see here. And then we got some discussions about Rob and what's going on below the belt there. Let's see. Oh my God. Let's see. Let's get on to the next player, guys. We still got a lot actually, but we're still talking about the Giant. Anthony says everyone is not a giant. Deb says Drew and Bobby Skinner.
Oh, so third one on my size, you want to skip it, but the song with your size, I see how it is.
Well, your size was not show appropriate that we're talking about. Rob was suggesting that you were well endowed. I mean, Jay was suggesting you were well endowed.
Well, I don't wear pants for the show, so.
That makes two of us anyway.
Yeah.
Rice says, I'm taller than Bobby Skinner. Jay says Bobby Skinner fended the show. Anthony says, Deb, that might be the record for tallest podcasters on the same show. Anthony says, why is every podcast, except for Rob, a living giant? Oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah, no. And Ryan is definitely not 6'7", he said there, but oh my God, it's funny. Anyway, let's get off to the next guy here because this move could protect the Giants, whether they keep or move Kayvon Thibodeau. And that's Dre'Mont Jones, the one of the backup edge rushers there for the Ravens, the second half of the season. 6'3", 281 pounds, just turned 29 years old, so kind of towards the tail end of his peak here. Again, split time with the Titans and the Ravens. 18 games, which is crazy. 18 games in a season because of the trade. 17 starts, 43 tackles, 7 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 24 quarterback hits, 1 pass deflected, 2 fumble recoveries, and a 64.7 PFF grade. And what I like about this, guys, is he's not going to be expensive. Like you want depth on that. we can get depth. Like this, we need some depth at edge room, especially if we trade Kayvon. But either way, we need it. And I still think we're going to trade Kayvon. Let me be very clear on that. I've said that from the get-go, which is really a shame because Kayvon was talking about how he wasn't into football when he was younger. And the first game he watched was one of the Ravens games, and Harbaugh was the coach. And he felt like this whole thing went full circle. I don't think Harbaugh's ever going to coach him.
That would be poetic justice, I guess, for not being that big of a football player. Come to the Giants and not give us that good of years, and then have the opportunity to work with them, and then not.
I just think you can get some decent backups. You can go ahead and make Abdul Carter start now, which we saw what he did to the last couple of games. Like, he looked a lot better. So you can go ahead and trade away Kayvon. You save $15 million. And then you go ahead and you got some cap space. You got the availability of, other backups that can be decent. There's a couple we're going to talk about in this whole thing here that are decent. And you got to talk about the injury issue. Kayvon's always hurt, it feels like. And he was that way in college, too. So it's not like this is a Giants issue. So, great player, don't get me wrong. Like, he's not elite, but he's above average. There are plenty of people that would take him. And they would take him and give us a day 2 pick, I think. Like, he has value.
He does.
I think a second or third round pick is not out of the question for a guy like him. So I think that you take the pick, you save the $15 million, you go get a couple of cheap guys, give you some depth in the edge room, and then you're good to go.
Listen, I'm a Kayvon fan. I would love for him to stay, but I've also said the best ability is availability. So many times on the show that's cliche, it's corny. And
it's cliche before you started saying it, but
it was. But just saying, if you have players that just don't show up and can't play for you because they're always missing time,
yeah,
I'd rather take the guy that produces 10% less than you do, 50% less than you do, but he's there every game instead of having that you at 100% that's there for 50% of the time. Because then your backup is producing 30% less than you. Give me consistency.
Yeah, and like I said, this is a guy here, 7 sacks. And again, he was technically labeled as a starter, but he wasn't like he's on the field nonstop. And he's not going to be ridiculously expensive because this was his best year by far last year. And he's still young-ish, where you can have him for a couple of years. 29 is not exactly ancient. He's not a running back. And you got a guy that provides that depth. Like I said, I feel like that's the thing we need. We need some depth at the edge position. And if we trade Kayvon, that problem gets worse. So here's a guy to go ahead and help create that depth. So, all righty, guys. We're going to go ahead and pay the bills here. Before we do that, Jerry Limbach, we have to give him a thank you there because usually people do this on the live. He signed up to be a member on YouTube there. So just want to give him a little special shout out, a little thank you for that. But if you don't know what that is, we're going to tell you all about it here. Let's pay those bills.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. Before we get to the next guy, I just got to say, someone liked the idea of Linderbaum at least. Joe Edwards says, we need Raven center. See? Somebody likes it. Someone.
I had told about Kayvon, I saw in the comments where we're than the Bills. I'm a fan of Kayvon. I want him to stay. But if you want to get a guy like Lombard in here, how do you feel with that gap space?
See, to me, it's like I thought the second that we got we got Carter, that Kayvon was a risk to be gone. And I looked at it and go, you know what? Maybe Kayvon's not the guy that's gone. Maybe it's instead of Brian Burns. You can't get rid of Brian Burns right now the way he just played this year.
No. I mean, you definitely get a lot for him, but you can't get rid of him. Like
that's my thought process. Remember, we traded him. I said, when we drafted Carter, I said, well, maybe Kayvon's not the one that goes. Maybe look at the contract. It's something you can get out of in a couple of years. Maybe Burns is the guy who goes. But after the last year he just had, you can't get rid of him anytime soon. Nor do I want. Let me be very clear. I'm not suggesting we should. But I just feel like this is the guy that you go ahead and get and keep now in Brian Burns long term because of the season he's had. And you try to develop Carter with him. And you say, you know what? Kayvon, dude, I love the way you play. But there's not a spot for you. We can't pay you $20 million to be the third edge rusher.
My only rebuttal to that, and I made the argument prior, but if you're looking to rebuild the team, like you have to be willing to part ways with something that you're fond of, which this is what I'm looking at. But prior to that, like, and maybe Harbaugh can make it work. Maybe we keep Kayvon and he still sits at edge, and same with Burns, and you kind of get those guys out to stay a little more fresh during the game. You put Abdul something in and out. What was the big hype behind Abdul Carter coming out of college into this draft?
He was good at beating up tow truck drivers.
Great at it, especially with the bullet gun yet. No, but like he's like Parsons, right? Where did Parsons play when he was with the Cowboys?
Everywhere.
Was he strictly edge?
No.
Nope. You just said everywhere. That's what Abdul could be. You could literally put him, you can put Carter wherever you want to put them, you make it work. Because you have three of those guys that play great football and came on met by your weakness league, but still playing good football. Why wouldn't you do that if you have the opportunity? And a coach that understands how that works instead of going, I don't know, if we drafted him, I didn't have a game plan. I just never came up with one. Like, if the Cowboys can figure it out,
that was a perfect reenactment, by the way, of Shane Bowen.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does Shane Bowen always look at that drunk guy at the dive bar? You know what I'm talking about? Like the drunk guy at the dive bar.
Wasted. The one that's like spitting when he talks.
So that's what I think is going to happen. We'll see. We've got to find out, as we've lost Rob entirely now. Sheesh. Let's see here. Jay brought up a good point too. He said Ravens are known for drafting guards, linebacker, and safety, low priority positions. Yes, but that's also why the guys they've gotten have hit, because they don't care about the positional value. They go with the best player available, which is what you should do. Take the best player available, especially if it's a spot of needs, you know. But let's get to the next guy here for us here, because we still got to go through. We got 4 more players to go through, guys. Next one is Ardarius Washington. And listen, injury timing might make this the best value signing on the board here in this.
Or the worst. Probably the best.
Way to be positive. We're supposed to be positive now. We have Harbaugh. Stop it, Rob.
Someone has to be the Debbie Downer here.
Listen, this is an interesting guy, though. Seriously, this is a very interesting player. 5'8", 180 pounds. So you're talking a tiny guy like the Wan'Dale Robinson of secondary help here. How to say that for Anthony, by the way. He's just 26 years old. He's still young. This past year, played in 4 games, 7 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 3 QB hits, a forced fumble, and a 58.7 PFF grade. Now, you'd say that's not very good, and you would not be wrong. The kid literally tore his Achilles in May. Came back at the end of the season. And played a little bit, like fought back to come play the last 4 weeks. That's not a bad turnaround for that kind of massive injury. So first off, kudos to him and working like that. That shows me work ethic.
Yes.
Then we always say, big injury. When they first come back, they're not the same. It takes a little time. Let's go back to 24. 17 games, 10 starts, 64 tackles, 1 sack, 5 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits, 2 interceptions, 8 passes deflected, and a forced fumble. And this kid plays everywhere, guys. He plays safety. He plays slot. They've thrown him on the outside as a corner as well. I'm telling you right now, this is a guy that gives you depth in the secondary, which we need.
You sign him cheap, and for him to play like that, there's probably less than 5% of players that come back from Achilles or an ACL injury play very similar style than when they left the game. And that's kind of like where you're looking at. I mean, you look at he's 25. He has 3 QB hits compared to 2 QB hits the year prior before he tore his Achilles. So, like, he's sitting there still getting out to the quarterback. Bring him on, bring him cheap. And it's depth of secondary, like you said, which is something that we haven't had really for a long time, or a good secondary.
And again, Dane Belton, I believe, is a free agent now too. So that's off the top of my head. So I mean, you're talking we need a depth before that even. Even if we re-sign Belton, we still need depth. We don't have depth at any of the secondary. Like, let's be honest here for a second. Are you comfortable with the secondary right now? Are you comfortable with the depth at the corner, outside corner?
No.
Are you
secondary overall
at slot?
Secondary overall.
That's what I'm saying. Are you comfortable with the depth at safety? You're not comfortable everywhere, right?
That's what I said. Get this guy cheap. We need spots in secondary that you can trust. And this guy, like you said,
can play any of those positions.
Yeah, like you said, he came back for the last 4 weeks of football. And guess what? Now he used to go rest and come back.
And because he came back, he's probably cheaper. Like, he's probably going to be cheaper. I got to say, of all the people on there, he's probably much higher in this list than wants than you would probably think, just because it fits the needs for us so well.
We need our cap space.
Yeah, well, cap space I'm not worried about. You can figure out cap space. Honestly, that is so overblown with the Giants. Not even funny because we have so much money we can maneuver around, and we have so much cap space already available for next year. I'm not too worried about that part of it there. But like I said, Washington's this kid that you can put in there. And he's going to be a guy that specifically goes in nickel and dime positions at that point there. And he's going to ball out. And what's great is, what's the problem we always complain about when it comes to Drew Phillips? Coverage issues in third down. You put Washington in a third down at the slot corner instead. You move, Phillips back to more like a safety kind of role in those times. I could see that kind of move paying off. Because how many times have you seen a short pass, whether it be a short wheel route, a wide receiver screen, a 5-yard hook route or something like that, all of a sudden he turns it upfield and gets 15, 20 yards because no one's there to tackle. That's using Drew Phillips smart. Put him in a position to succeed.
Yeah. Get him behind the slot. So this way he could, if it does happen, stop it before it becomes a big play.
Like I said, I just think it's an interesting idea, that part specific. But either way, Washington fits here so well. I want him on this team. I really want him on this team. I think he'd be a great fit. As long as his health stuff figures out. Again, we saw him just, 4 weeks this year. But by the time the season was to start, he'd be a year and a half basically past the injury. Not quite, but a year, 4 months, whatever, but he'd be fine. He's already playing.
I was going to say, he kind of proved himself how he played now. There's a handful of players, so you can look back at history and look at an injury like that and ACL and come back, played without missing a beat. That's almost what it looks like. Now he's got even more time to heal, cover, and come over it.
I will say the size scares me a little bit. The size definitely scares me a little bit. That's the one thing that I'm like,
Listen, he's already had a proven track record in the NFL. I hear what you're saying with size, but
he's had a lot of injuries as well. And that's why I'm saying.
But there's also a lot of overall like players have come out the past 3 to 5 years that aren't that big. The size issue is a thing that we've talked about a lot of players. So when the size issues for a lot of players for 3 to 5 years, well, guess what happens? Kind of negates who's active in the NFL about size difference. Now that becomes a normal size. I'm not that concerned. They just aren't making big old Nebraska beef-fed, kids in secondary anymore. That's what it is. So look at receivers. Look at the receivers. You come out there and get the fast receivers, especially in the slot. How big are they? Not that big. That's what it was, 20 years ago.
I had to put it up there. You just keep on saying size and big. I'm like a child. It is what it is.
I didn't even see what you put up, so it seemed
I put up the eggplant thing that Jay put up earlier. All right, guys. Let's get into our next guy, another edge rusher. Because listen, the question with this guy is not production. It's how much is left. How much is left in the tank for Kyle Van Noy? Listen, he's been in playing, it seems like, for 5 decades now at this point. He's been around for how many years? But 34 years old, 6'3", 245 pounds. This past season, 15 games, 13 starts, 20 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 9 QB hits, interception, 4 passes deflected, and a 61.7 PFF grade. Now, last year, 24, 12.5 sacks. 23, 9 sacks. But he's 34 years old. So the question is the downplay in sack production specifically, because he still played solid. 61 PFF grade is not horrible at that point. That's not, don't get me wrong. He's not going to at least go to a Pro Bowl, but it's not horrible. But his sack rate, is that just because of the age, or is that just an off year for him? I don't know. But what I do know is he'd be great veteran depth. He was paid just $2.75 million last year. And on top of that, the Raiders only used him on 50 to 59% of the defensive snaps all the last 3 seasons. Cheap.
Yeah. You also got to figure how bad that's Ravens defense was beat up last year. You're talking about 13 starts. He definitely has missed a lot of time and was a little banged up last year. And how much is that? Besides father time was due to injury.
Yeah. I mean, again, you got to imagine that with the production even too. Is father time doing it there? He's 34 years old. That's definitely not exactly not exactly a great, age to be bringing somebody in at. But I also look at the perspective of, would a veteran like him also be someone to help not just them know the defense and stuff like that? Because we're assuming they're going to have some kind of Ravens guy as a defensive coordinator. Help know the defense there. Help also, though, with just teaching in general. You don't think that Kyle Van Noy can go ahead and teach Abdul Carter some stuff?
Oh, without a doubt.
How many guys are still playing the league in their mid-30s and still starting and still producing? Just saying, that's what I think is the big thing. You got a guy in there you can bring in that's legit production, at least for a year or two, because it's probably not much longer, and can go ahead and help teach the position, teach the defense. That's a slam dunk for me. That's one of those quiet, good moves. And you talked about you can put Abdul Carter wherever you want. Go ahead and do it. You put Kyle Van Noy at the other edge position now.
You could, but use him as depth in the backup position.
Yeah, but I'm saying it works. But that's what he's been doing with him.
Yeah. He'd be kind of like your Nacho kind of guy.
Nacho. But better, because he's actually be good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Womp.
We're upgrading all spots here.
We're trying here. And we're also killing the Ravens roster in the process. But next up, This move right here would tell you exactly how physical Harbaugh wants this offense to be. Fullback Patrick Ricard, 6'3", 300 pounds, 31 years old. This season, 11 games, 5 starts, 1 rush for 3 yards, 1 catch for 8 yards. Doesn't sound that spectacular, does he? But he's a blocker. That's all he is. He's a blocker.
But say he's your extra lineman.
He's made the Pro Bowl 6 of the last 7 seasons, guys. 6 of the last 7 seasons. Last year, he also made just $2.7 million. Never earned more than $4 million in a season. Can you imagine having a guy like this leading the way for Cam Scatterbo?
It would be absolutely amazing. The guy twice his size actually blocking for him.
Yeah. Could you imagine a guy like this blocking for Tyrone Tracy?
Or you don't want to hear it, blocking up for Dart.
That was my next. Class. Could you imagine? Could you imagine him blocking for Jackson Dart?
And a design run where he actually slides. I think that's what Harbaugh's going to come in.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked about this play. That's what he's going to teach Harbaugh. Like Harbaugh's going to teach Dart. Like, you can run the ball. That's fine. Let's be smart about it.
I'm telling you right now, this would be like one of those quiet moves that you go, oh my God. Like, look at, like, I'm going to throw this at you guys. Derrick Henry's last year when he was with the Titans. I'm going to pull it up here for you guys. And again, I'm not trying to do this to take away from Derrick Henry. Let me be very clear on that. I'm going to do this, actually. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry's last 3 years with the Titans. 21, 22, and 23. Here's his yards per carry. 4.3. 4.4. 4.2. The last 2 with the Ravens. 5.9, 5.2. You don't get better with age, especially at the running back position. He's 32 years old, King Henry is now. Much respect to the guy. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But he gained 1.5 yards by having this offense with this guy blocking in front of him.
Yeah, and he's only gotten older, a little bigger as he's played the game. He's built like a small, offensive lineman.
And on top of that, his career average is 4.9. So it's like he was never doing 5.9 yards a carry.
I was going to say it's skewed upwards because of this guy. Well,
it's this guy's ability to block in front of him, and it's also the run blocking scheme that the Ravens have.
Correct.
But this is why I'm saying this is one of those quiet needs, because the offense under Harbaugh in Baltimore has been much, I don't want to say a fully old school, because like obviously Lamar Jackson is as far away from an old school quarterback as you get. But
he might be the oldest old
team
school.
was very run first old school. Running with a blocker, having a fullback in there, all these things that you don't really see it anymore in the NFL. They do that. Because here's the option. Right there. The guy it works with. The guy can do the job. And fullbacks, guys, just 31. And we kind of lost the fullback thing over the years. Here's a guy that literally is 31 years old when fullbacks typically played like their mid-30s. Which is weird because they take all the hits. You would not think that, but for some reason, historically, again, because we don't really have a lot of new school, kind of guys to look at, but historically, fullbacks that are like elite fullbacks will play into the mid-30s. So he's probably got a couple of years still to go. I would sign this guy in a heartbeat if Harbaugh wanted to have that same style of run offense there going. That's what I would go with. Because even Smooth Operator just said Ravens' offensive line is horrendous. That's their biggest downfall. Yet, Derrick Henry's doing 1 yard per carry more with the Ravens than he was with the Titans. Just saying. That's where I want to go with. So, all right. Talked about their horrendous offensive line. Let's get right into it because listen, size like this can change plans. Sometimes depth charts as well. Got to talk about the right guard for the Ravens, Daniel Bellinger. 6'8". 6'8", 370 pounds.
That's a big boy.
That's a freaking big boy.
Listen, he's always at the Golden Corral when I go. My God.
They ran out of pot roast burritos last time because of him. That's how bad it was. But
listen, I couldn't say a word.
I wouldn't say anything either.
I'm 2/3 of that man.
Listen, I may be that guy's height practically, like 1 inch difference. He's got 100 pounds on me. He's got 100 pounds on me.
Yeah.
Insanity. And I'm fat.
Over 100 pounds. My God.
By the way, I'm already seeing the comments. So, spoiler alert, I don't want this guy. Just fair warning. I'm bringing him up because he's a free agent, and a lot of people are bringing up the idea of bringing him on. He's 26 years old. From Australia. Crikey.
Oh, geez. Talk about his Dan Under, eh?
Whoa. No more down under talk. Had enough of that tonight.
Stripping and Bobby.
He has started all 34 games for the Ravens the past 2 seasons. This past year, a 57.2 PFF grade, 61.2 pass block, 53.6 run block. To give you a comparison, Greg Van Roten, 65.3 PFF grade.
See, you just want to be
he's almost 10 points lower. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not interested in this guy personally, unless he wants to come in as a backup.
You want to beat up and fake Greg Van Roten.
Yeah. Like Greg Van Roten, 9 years older than this kid. And he's still able to outplay him.
Yeah.
I'm good. And I can tell you this. Ravens fans hate him. He's like their Evan Neal. Like all this size, all this ability you think you see. And he's just not good. If you search his name, the very first thing you'll find is a video of Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson on their show blasting him for being too big to be this bad. Yes. I don't want him. I'm good. So, but 370 pounds, that's intriguing. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Smooth Opera says Flele is much worse than Evan Neal. God damn. It can't get worse. Does he not know how to make burgers?
Can you not flip him? Oh, God.
I don't know. But like I said, I'm good there. And yeah, I'm good.
As James making fun of everyone's weight, Evan Neal.
Yeah. Freudian slip there in the typo. Real quick as well, I see you guys all talking about the uniform. We said last year they changed uniforms. Giants uniform is I first off, I want the old school helmets back.
Leather helmets with a nice red jersey on the year anniversary.
No, not Bring that old school. I want
with the khaki pants. Come on, let's go.
I want I want the I want the old school Giants helmet with the actual giant word on there, like they use for the alternate ones. And I think they should just do something to jazz up the uniform just a little bit, something a little more modern. But I want the old school helmets. So, but yeah, like I said, that's where I would be. As Jay says, 100 watchers. What the? Usually it's just me, AC, and Def. Oh yeah, definitely give a shout out to everybody that might be new watching here. Listen, everybody cares about the Giants again. That's what it is. Because all of a sudden Harbaugh's here. And we're like, there's hope.
The Giants are going through some hard ball times, and it's exciting to watch.
Yes, exactly. So again, appreciate everybody might be new there. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend. He says, come banter with us. Damn straight. That's what we do here. We banter left and right. Make fun of everybody there in a respectful manner. You don't take it personal. But we got one more thing to talk about here with you guys. This coaching connection here could quietly be the most important move of all, or it may turn into nothing. Sean McDermott got fired by the Buffalo Bills.
Crazy.
I mean, it's not. Honestly, I can
It's
see
not
both
that great.
sides. I gotta say, I can see both sides. Because when you look at what's going on here, how many years they get to the playoffs, how many years they not progress to where they think they should progress. Eventually, you got to make a change. Eventually, you got to say a definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, especially this is probably the worst. It was the best opportunity to make it further down the road, but it was the worst performed year they've had under Sean. Like it definitely came out that McDermott like has probably worse year, even though they've got the furthest they have in a couple years in the playoffs. Especially it's the first playoff win on the road in since the Super Bowl run they had 30 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy thing is, first off, I got to say this. I am so glad the Giants have, again, signed, sealed, and delivered Harbaugh before this job became available. Though, by all accounts, Harbaugh wanted this job. Like, legitimately, I know it's like, this is not a Homer Giant fan talk. Harbaugh wanted to be a New York football Giant.
That's the rumor has it, but it also, that was before the firing of Sean. So,
yeah, but McDermott, that's an interesting one there. Now, I look at McDermott and what's going on here with him. There's really two jobs I'd be interested if I was him. I'd be interested in the Steelers, and I'd be interested in the Ravens.
Fair enough.
Would you really want the Titans? Would you really want the Cardinals?
No.
The Dolphins?
Although the Bills really weren't much before he got there.
The Browns? The Raiders?
No one wants the Raiders.
But I'm saying the ones that are available besides those two, and obviously he's not going back to the Bills, that's why I'm not including them, is the shittiest franchises in the league. Like, no offense. Like, we've had bad luck lately. I know that. We've had a bad string. I'm not trying to make it seem like we've been winning Super Bowls every other year. But why would you want to go there? That's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like this is a move where if I'm
on the Ravens,
I mentioned, I forgot, Dolphins did hire Halfley today, which we said was going to happen. Remember, we said a while ago, as soon as they hired John Eric Sullivan to be their GM, he'd be the guy they bring in as the head coach. So thanks for pointing that out, Deb. But either way, I still wouldn't want that job either.
I was going to bring up, but Kelsey, I had to talk about that earlier. But yeah,
we called that a while ago. But I look at this scenario. Let's say hypothetically, he interviews with the Ravens, he interviews with the Steelers. They want to go young, different, whatever the case may be, and they don't want to go with him. I could see a scenario where he says, I'm going to take a year off. I could see a scenario where he says, I'm going to go ahead and go with a guy who, I know, and be his defensive coordinator for a year or two while I figure out my options. And then you think about it, you go, well, who does Sean McDermott know? Who's he worked with before? That was a guy who just got a job as a head coach, or a head coach that needs a defensive coordinator, maybe lost one. Guess what it is? John Harbaugh. Sean McDermott and John Harbaugh worked together with the Eagles. McDermott actually started his career in the NFL back in '99 under Andy Reid, when Harbaugh was their special teams coordinator. The two worked together until Harbaugh left for that Ravens job back in 2008. The last season, Harbaugh was actually, they took him down from special team coordinator and made him the defensive backs coach because they thought that was holding him back from getting a head coaching job because of the special teams. McDermott was the linebackers coach. So those guys were in meetings together. It wasn't like they were no contact, just happened to see each other and wave high and passing in the hall. Like, these guys worked together. And again, I'm not suggesting, let me be very clear on this. I'm not suggesting that McDermott should not get a head coaching job. He should absolutely get a head coaching job. I just don't know if he's going to get one he wants. And he strikes me as somebody who's smart enough to know that, let's say hypothetically, he goes ahead and he goes to, let's say, the Cardinals. I'm just throwing a random team out there. He goes to the Cardinals. The Cardinals suck under him because they've sucked under everybody.
Yeah.
Then what happens to him? He's no longer looked at as a head coach guy. And then he's looked at a guy that you go, well, wait a minute. This guy, Buffalo didn't do what they need to do under him. Now he goes to Arizona. Arizona sucks. And then they had the conversation about, like, well, Josh Allen made that team, not Sean McDermott.
I don't think it goes that far. I think that's
no, but I'm saying,
I hear what
the Cardinals and the Cardinals suck. I think those conversations get had.
They would.
Especially if the Bills do better with somebody new.
But,
or even equal. Or even equal.
You'll get a little bit of that naysay after 1 year. And I hear what you're going. You know, he's a smart guy. Step down, become an OC somewhere or a DC somewhere. Like, become a coordinator. That's what I should say.
That's what I'm saying. He was a defensive coordinator, so make him a DC.
So you make him a coordinator for a year, and you allow yourself to get a better opportunity. I mean, the Ravens' job does look kind of interesting to him, most likely. Like, you go back, you get yourself a good quarterback. You go back, you get yourself what should be a good defense on paper. You do some work. You go right into things and start being competitive. And he's leaving a team that's been well coached for a long time. And he's going to an organization that's been well coached for a very long time. So there's a little structural change where he can sit there and go. Or he doesn't want to go somewhere like that. He doesn't want to go to these loser teams. No offense to the teams out there. So look for your head coach.
Hashtag offense.
Yeah. But you sit back and maybe next year you look at a job somewhere else where you're like, maybe I want to go there. But you also might think, hey, Mike Tomlin might be getting that job I want.
Yeah.
Might take it.
I can't think of one job that's not the Ravens or Steelers that would be appealing to me if I was him.
And Steelers right now, I don't think it's that appealing. Like, it is because the history of the organization where Mike Tomlin left it, but he was so efficient that he downgraded that team by not losing at all. He's had to take nothing but players later in the draft and kind of work in the middle, which is not the worst thing. But look at your quarterback. You have an aging quarterback that's, depending on who gets there, might play, might not play for, who's a headache to work for.
He's not going to play there.
I doubt, but that's your situation you're looking at right now. You got an organization that's probably trying to revamp itself and find another young head coach where they don't have to, which they have a long history of keeping coaches for long periods of time, right? Tomlin's the fourth head coach there since they become an organization. It's absolutely absurd. So I don't know if they take McDermott over there.
Yeah.
He wants to fill in those shoes because it's a bigger legacy to fill in than when he went to Buffalo.
Yeah. I said the Steelers, to me, the reason you're interested in the Steelers as much, again, the roster, like you said, is not that great. And you're following up a very good coach, which is never fun. The only thing that makes them so palatable of an option is because of the fact that it's the Steelers. You know they're going to want to keep you for 20 years. That's job security like you don't get in the NFL going to them. You know?
Yeah, but if you can't, you need to go there and win a couple playoff games and make yourself look great year one. Otherwise, you might get ran out of town within 5 years because Tomlin took over a team that was kind of failing. Yeah, they kept him, but turned him to a winning team. Took him to the Super Bowl a few times. Won one of those guys. Took him a couple of AFC championship games. Like, always in the playoffs. Not always, but typically in the playoffs. Winning records. He's done that with the Bills, but it's...
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
But he's not going to go somewhere... He's not going to go somewhere where he can be the guy that did it. He's just stepping in the shoes of Tomlin and just kept status quo.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I can see it. And listen, I got to say this part of it is too as well. I don't know how Harbaugh and McDermott are as far as friendship-wise or coworker-wise. For all I know, they don't like each other. They hate each other. And Harbaugh was so glad to be rid of him. Like, I got to say that as part of it because I feel like we make this, assumption, and it's all content creators, members of the media and everything. Oh, well, so-and-so work together. They must be friends. No, listen, I hate some of the damn people I work with sometimes. To be very frank.
Yeah.
We all have been there. Just because I work with somebody doesn't mean I like them or I want to work with them again. So for all we know, they had that kind of relationship. So it's conjecture, 100%. I'm going to throw it out there as that. And it could also be that Harbaugh says, you know what? I liked working with McDermott. I never worked with them as a head coach, with him as a DC. I've got guys out that I have worked with before, like Anthony Weaver, Zach Orr, people like that. Maybe I want to go that route instead. I don't know. I just say I think we got to kind of include that in the mix now as a potential, depending on what McDermott thinks, depending on what the jobs that are good actually think of him. And there's a lot of I don't know in those scenarios. There's a lot of I don't know, which means a lot of things can happen and a lot of things cannot happen. So, all righty, guys. Well, I think that's going to call it a night for us here. Again, we're going to be back with you guys tomorrow. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm going to put this up real quick because we have somebody who says they know things here. I'm sorry.
Dread-Eye,
1989. I'm sorry. I don't want to mispronounce the name. Let me know if we're mispronouncing it wrong. It says Harms and Sean right. The last time I heard, but don't see him bringing it in him at DC. So yeah. So again, seems like he, again, there's a working relationship they've had in the past. Who knows the level of degree of friendship? But again, it's a possible scenario. Because again, I personally, if I was him, wouldn't want to go to a shit franchise where I blow my potential last shot to be a head coach as I sneeze in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I couldn't reach the mute button in time. That's what happened.
Yeah, so it's not just T's, not a J.
If we weren't live, cut. All right, guys. Well, that's going to call it a night for us. Again, we're going to be back with you guys tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usual time we'll do instead of our Wednesdays. We can go over everything goes on in the presser tomorrow as the Giants have a historical day introducing John Harbaugh as the new head coach of the New York Football Giants. Going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a little bit of celebration day. Maybe I should have party lights on the whole time. Got the party lights going. Oh, yes. It's like changing colors on me now. I don't know what's going on. I never tell it to change colors.
Disco.
But listen, guys, we're going to be celebrating. So come back in for the excitement tomorrow because we're going to be celebrating. This is a momentous occasion as a Giants fan. This is going to be, I really think this is going to be franchise altering. The fact that he held on to that contract for so long to make sure everything was in writing. That's going to be freaking awesome. So listen, I'm looking forward to it. I said, as long as you don't get Zach Orr, you'll be fine. Yeah, Zach Orr. I said his name. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the coaching staff potentially, but not as DC. I think Anthony Weaver personally, or Jim Leonard. I think one of those two is going to be the guy. We'll find out. That's all the names you keep hearing now. But again, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, but this week Tuesday instead of Wednesday on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, X, Twitch, and Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn profile. Woo!
My LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on the audio podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones. So That'll be available the next day. So if you ever miss an episode, you can listen on your way to work there. Appreciate you guys for supporting the show. Appreciate you guys for popping in. Anybody that's new, again, we had a lot of new subscribers even during this. So appreciate you all for popping in there. Feel free to join the Goofball Army full time here as we go for the whole entire off season. We don't take weeks off. We will be on every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we'll also be doing a ton of draft coverage. As Deb says, only one like. That's because Facebook. No one watches on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, or is that the thumbs up? I don't see the thumbs up on here. Is that what's going on? We don't got any thumbs up here. Okay. Deb can let me know here. I don't get to see that, so it's not on here for some reason. That's the one thing I wish they would put on the stream here.
We only see that Facebook thumbs up. So,
oh yeah, Deb says on YouTube. Let's see. I'm gonna put it up. We're gonna find out. I got an ad instead, which is kind of nice because I'm paying myself while we're live on the show to see it. No, we got 46 thumbs up. We got 46 thumbs up on this, so appreciate the 46 that hit that thumbs up. As of now, I'm watching myself on the dual screen. It's very weird and funky. It's like a little bit of a delay. It's kind of creeping me out here. Again, I appreciate you guys for chiming in and celebrating here with us. And again, celebration really is tomorrow as that press conference goes through. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. And as always, Giant fans,
go Dre'Mont!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.